Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.
the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is the head coach of the Memphis Tigers baseball team, Darren Schoenrock. With temperatures below the freezing mark, bitter wind chill factors, and ice as far as the eyes can see, baseball is probably the last thing on anyone's mind. But the fact of the matter is the college baseball season is already underway. Schools in Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Southern California, to name a few areas, don't normally have to deal with weather conditions like ice and snow, which gives them the leg up on most other schools. But in 2014, it would be Vanderbilt University from Nashville that would surprise many and win the College Baseball World Series. A trip to Omaha is the goal for every D1 college baseball program, but in realistic terms, earning a spot in the NCAA tournament is the target. For the University of Memphis, reaching the tournament is a fairly elusive proposition. Only once in Coach Darren Schoenrock's 10 years have the Tigers accomplished that feat, but it's not because the Tigers haven't put a good product on the field. It just shows you how tough of a challenge it really is. In fact, Schoenrock has led his squad to 4 straight seasons of 30 or more wins and 6 in 10 years. He has helped develop numerous players who've gone on to play professional baseball, and last season had his team garnering national attention after an 11-1 start that included wins over second-ranked Mississippi State and number 15 Ole Miss. Today, Darren Schoenrock joins me to warm things up with baseball talk. We'll get his expectations on the season, his thoughts on the race in the American Conference, and the tragic loss of a Tiger signee. And it's next on Sports Files. Rock, it's great to have you on the show again.
Thanks, Greg. Great to be here.
Thanks so much for your time. I hate to begin our segment with tragic news, but the 2 young athletes from Christian Brothers High School were killed over the last weekend in a car accident. Just tragic. And Colin Kilgore was a signee of yours. He signed in November. Just talk a little bit about this tragic news.
Well, it's, first of all, our thoughts and prayers go out to Bob and Anna, his parents, and his brother Riley, who is a catcher at Christian Brothers University.
Right.
We got the news Sunday morning, and it almost seems like it's not real, and looking at when an athlete that's so full of vigor and life and everything loses life, parents are never supposed to bury their children.
Exactly.
And watching Bob and Anna handle it, they were very strong Sunday, but you could still tell basically still in shock. But we're the Colin was loved by his teammates, got to know a lot of guys on our team. We have some Christian Brothers High School players on our team that it really impacted, and we're going to honor Colin with a plaque on a locker that'll be there for eternity. So he'll be in our locker room every day.
Very nice.
And when we're going to attempt to keep that locker occupied by a Christian Brothers player, former Christian Brothers player, every time that we can. So obviously nothing you ever expect, but Colin was very excited, and talking with Buster Kelso, the coach, he was so excited about being a Memphis Tiger, and it was a fierce recruiting battle. He had a lot of options, and he chose Memphis, and we were very fortunate and thankful he did, and we still are.
I think it's a great gesture from your part. And again, our thoughts and prayers, condolences go out to the Kilgore family and friends of Colin.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the season gets underway last weekend. You wouldn't know it, it's baseball season when you look outside and you see all the ice and the cold. You lose 2 of 3, could have easily won 2 of the 3 against Oral Roberts, a pretty good team in their own right. How did you think you guys performed over the first weekend?
About like our club looking at it, is about what I thought we were going to be. We swing the bat okay. We've got 6 out of the 9 hitters are back that were in the lineup every day last year. We faced a very good pitching staff with Oral Roberts, a staff that's going to be equivalent to an American Athletic Conference staff, and that was good for our hitters to see. Caleb pitched very well on Friday. As you expect, he just he doesn't overpower anybody. He just doesn't give you very many good pitches to hit.
That's Caleb Wallingford for those.
Yeah, our returning all-conference performer who turned down the draft, and very excited about how he pitched Friday. We threw 2 freshmen out of the bullpen, 2 first guys in that we think are going to be outstanding. That's just going through some freshman things right now. Had a chance to go up 2-0 in the 6th in that Friday game and failed to score a guy, and then it always bites you when you miss opportunities, and it comes back to bite you, and it did. We gave up some 2-out, 2-strike runs, and then the first game Saturday, Colin Lee wasn't sharp, battling a little stuff in his arm. Connor Alexander, another freshman, came in behind him and got the game under control and gave us a chance. We made a little bit of a run late, and then Dylan Toscano Sunday was lights out. So you walk away from there going, we were in every game, and against a good club on the road. Still a lot of things to learn, but excited with what I'm seeing. 63%
of the runs you scored last year back, 77% of your home runs, 58% of your ribbies. You got some potent offensive players returning. Mr. Tubbs, of course, leading the way. Talk about the returnees from a team that went 30-29 last season.
That's the thing is they all have at-bats under their belt. What we expect from them is going to be magnified a little bit over last year, and we talk about that a lot with them. Is that you've got a lot of experience now. We expect more, and in the preseason, in inter-squad scrimmages, what we can tell, we're a lot more dynamic offensive club. We've got multiple ways to score now, and with the stolen base, and our leadoff hitter Darian Tubbs is really grown up as a leadoff guy. We threw him in there as a true freshman last year, and he's showing that he can be a very viable leadoff guy. And then Kane Barrow and Tucker Tubbs in the middle of our order. We expect the RBIs to come from, and Tucker really came through with a great weekend this past weekend. So I like what we have, and we have a few more options. We are new up the middle with a new shortstop.
Yeah, I want to ask you that. Gross is gone, Willis is gone. When you lose a double play combination, how hard is that to replace?
Very hard because of the experience. Now, I feel like we've got, with the Brandon Montgomery, the freshman second baseman from Collier with us playing, we've got a little more arm strength to turn double plays. We actually turned 2 double plays this weekend. That arm strength of Brandon played a big factor in. Jacob Overbay at short is, played a lot at Ole Miss, transferred, sat out his year. So it's his first time to play in basically, 18 months. He's going to be fine. Very sure-handed, not the runner that Ethan is, probably a little more offensive. It's a little, you're probably driving a few more runs at short than you have in the past. The question is, will he dominate the routine play like Ethan did? Ethan was a, less than 10 errors a year guy. He was very, and he's in the
knew what you were getting.
Knew what you were getting. He's in the White Sox organization now, so somebody else noticed that too.
Last season, you get off to the tremendous start. You're getting national attention. You're knocking off ranked teams like Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and then came back down to earth a little bit, and we're basically a 500 team the rest of the way. How can you take it to that next step?
I think learning, and we talked about this after the Oral Roberts weekend, is that it's a different feeling now than it was when we jumped out 11-1 last year. But the understanding of what of those guys, that a lot of those guys went through their college season for the first time last year in an everyday role. Now they know it's really a long haul, so they're a little more equipped. Experienced, and last year we got a lot of bounces our way the first 12 games. To get off to that start, the bounces aren't always going to go your way. You just got to stay consistent with your preparation. And this team has been very, very diligent in preparation.
You always put together a daunting schedule. I love the fact that you're playing the big boys from the SEC because you already play a tough conference schedule. Arkansas on the schedule, Mississippi State on the schedule, Ole Miss. Just talk about the challenges that lie ahead.
Well, geographics and proximity allow that. I mean, we're located in a place where we can play a very strong midweek schedule, and you throw home and home with Arkansas State in there. We've got quality opponents. Now, what you get from those is, one, you get a lot of local fans to stand up and take notice, that are Memphis Tiger fans. Hey, let's go watch the Tigers play baseball. They're down at AutoZone Park. And it may be the only time they see us play, combination of where we play the games and the opponent we play. So the importance is making a good showing in those games. The Arkansas series, I anticipate us playing in front of somewhere around 17,000 people in 2 nights. We played in front of 10,000 in Little Rock the last time we did this, and then another 6,000 at AutoZone the next night. So big time atmosphere for our guys to get in, and especially for the young guys that are getting their first taste of college baseball.
How many of those at AutoZone Park? 3?
3.
The 3 I just mentioned?
Yep.
Now, as far as the conference is concerned, yes, Louisville is gone, but you pick up Tulane, you pick up East Carolina, you already have Houston, one of the better teams in the country. How challenging is the American?
Very challenging. And I think you look at it, Greg, with the number of, when you dissect lineups, last year there were a lot of the young lineups in the league. They're all back. They all have experience. Mm-hmm. I think the difference will lie how solidified are the pitching rotations going to be. I feel like ours has a chance. Houston returns basically everybody on both sides of the ball, and we're 3 or 4 outs away from going to Omaha last year in the Super Regional. Obviously, you think they're the pick to win it. Right. The next, I think everybody else, you throw them in a hat and jumble them up, and it's going to depend on how you perform on the weekend. I think we're all about the same. Very, very similar to what Justin was talking about with football. There's a lot of parity within the league, but that parity doesn't necessarily mean they're not good. There's a lot of quality opponents.
Right. It's who's going to reach out and grab that brass ring.
That's right.
You've led your team to 4 straight 30-plus win seasons. You've had 6 30-win seasons in 10 years at Memphis. So you've obviously won a lot of games. You're 1 away from 300. Hopefully that'll be coming this Sunday. But what do you think it will take, realistically, to get back to that elusive NCAA tournament?
I'm going to say with our schedule, our numbers got to be in the 36 range. That seems like it's been the magic number. 37, I think you're in really good shape because the RPI of who we play, win or lose, by the end of the year is going to be strong enough. Very strong. And if you can get in that 36 range, 30's great. 30's you're going to be above 500. You're holding your own. 36 to 37 are going to be the difference. And you look at, a 56-game schedule, a 6 or 7 game swing is based on making one play, getting one run in, one hold inning where you shut them down after you score. This team has started talking about a lot of little things like that a lot of teams in the past haven't talked about, and that shows maturity. And that's what I really like about what we have going now.
It's a fine line, but you guys are right on the cusp in getting to the 30 plateau every year, now trying to get to that 36 or 37, as you mentioned. A few minutes to go. Let me ask you about a couple of the new faces we'll see this year.
Well, 2 of the guys, we 2 pitchers that we're very excited about that I think we're going to have long-term, if you say weekend starting potential, Connor Alexander, a freshman that was at Tipton Rosemark, came in behind Colin Lee and pitched outstanding. I think 5 shutout innings and was tremendous in that game 2 of the series. And then Colton Hathcock from Brighton came in and got the game and kept the game under control after Caleb. And then he elevated a couple of pitches with 2 strikes and gave up a couple of singles and a couple of extra base hits with runners on. But I think those 2 are going to be names that you hear. They're going to be a big part of the Tiger future. And then I mentioned freshman second baseman Brandon Montgomery, who is going to be very offensive, a little different than Zach Willis, in that he's going to be a stolen base athletic type runner that has some power in his bat. And then Zach Schreitenthal, a sophomore third baseman from DeSoto Central that played a lot last year when Drew Griffin got hurt, had a real nice weekend. Those are young guys in the program that we're putting a lot on. And then, obviously returning Jake Little, Tucker Tubbs, and Kane Barrow in that 2, 3, 4 slot is huge for our lineup. So I like the mix. The seniors are all going to contribute, and we've got a number of freshmen that are going to get their first taste. The roster's shaping out really good. We just need the weather to cooperate.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch. You got the veterans, you got the young players. The veterans will take those young players under their wing. It's a nice combination. All right, final minute weather. You brought it up already this weekend. The event in Arkansas, you had a 3-game 3-game schedule against 2 different schools, that's been altered.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of these 3 opponents meeting up on the weekend, a lot of different places, and they do that so you can play different people and create, you're not playing the same team 3 times, but
right.
This obviously we're battling some weather. It's been moved to where we're only going to play a doubleheader on Sunday now, and then we'll try to pick up another midweek game somewhere along the way to keep it our 56. The NCAA selection committee is always going to look more favorably if you do play your fully allotted 56-game schedule.
Right.
So we'll figure out a way to do that. We'll play Central Arkansas and Eastern Illinois one game apiece on Sunday, and then start the home season, the home schedule, the 24th, next Tuesday against Mississippi Valley State. And I'm anxious to see this club get going and get some continuity going.
And I know FedEx Park is looking beautiful. It's an outstanding place to play your home games. Of course, it's always nice to go over to AutoZone Park, as we mentioned, but it's a nice place to go, folks, and watch some terrific baseball. Rock, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to you.
Thanks so much.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it's overtime. So who do you believe is the greatest Memphis Tiger of all time? Undoubtedly, if you ask enough people, you'll get a number of very qualified responses. But if I modify the question to who is the greatest Tiger football player of all time, the answer is easy. DeAngelo Williams. The former Wynn High School standout, who could have gone just about anywhere but chose Memphis, was recently inducted into the M Club Hall of Fame, where hundreds turned out to honor the former Heisman candidate and his Hall of Fame classmates. Among the guests, DeAngelo's head coach at Memphis, Tommy West, and former offensive coordinator, Randy Fichtner. Williams would rewrite the record books in his 4 years at Memphis and would leave as one of the all-time leading rushers in college football history. The induction ceremony took place earlier this month, and I had a chance to catch up with DeAngelo and some of those paying tribute to him. Well, Tommy, obviously a big night for DeAngelo Williams, who's meant so much to this program. Just talk about DeAngelo, the recruitment and bringing this guy in and then turning out to be probably the most prolific player that's ever played at Memphis.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. With all respect to all the other great players, I think DeAngelo is, I'm a little bit prejudiced, okay, because I love him. But anyway, just I always said the thing that separated him, he's a great football player. 9 years in the league as a running back is unheard of. But the kind of guy that he is what separated him. He was the epitome of a student athlete here. He loves Memphis, still loves Memphis to this day, comes back. All you got to do is look at his Facebook. He's just a great guy. And I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to recruit him and to coach him here.
You knew you had a great recruit when you got him, and obviously there was questions. Why didn't he go to an SEC team or another program? He went to Memphis. The rest is history. What did you see in him that you knew he could be the star he became?
Well, the reason, because of how he chose Memphis. He could have gone, he committed to Arkansas. He could have gone there. He could have gone to Ole Miss. Could have gone anywhere he wanted to go. But he did not want to follow and be like the other backs. He wanted to go somewhere where he could make a name for himself. And when you said one name, if you say Cher or you say Madonna or you say Tiger or you say Shaq, you know who they're talking about. And in Memphis, when you say DeAngelo, everybody knows who you're talking about. And that's what he wanted.
With all the great things he accomplished, and you talked about the man, not just the football player, what do you think his largest legacy that he left the University of Memphis? What will that be, that one thing people will remember him for 20 years from now?
I think the kind of guy he is. And he's one of the few that gives back. And he does. He gives back to Memphis. He loves Memphis. And I think, he's not just a great player that now has gone on. And there are a few at other places that give back. I know Peyton gives back at Tennessee, and I think Eli gives back at Ole Miss. But DeAngelo is one of those guys that is appreciative. I think he's really appreciative of his opportunity and what he was able to accomplish here.
Randy, tonight's DeAngelo's night here at the University of Memphis. What does he mean to you personally?
That's hard to say in like one sentence. He's a great, unbelievable kid that told me a long time ago that he believed in Memphis, he believed in me, he believed in Coach West, and he stuck to his word. And his family, Miss Sandra, Odell, and the family's just unbelievable. And he's probably the most fun guy I've ever had to be around coaching. I didn't get to be in his room every day, per se, as a running back coach, but that smile, and you're going to see it again tonight, it's wonderful. It's priceless.
How were you able to get this kid to come to Memphis?
I think it was maybe in his makeup. It wasn't me. It wasn't anything from a coaching standpoint, recruiting standpoint. I think that he's a family guy. He cares about family a lot. And you look, and Wynn High School is not very far from Memphis, and Memphis could offer him a lot. Big-time football, big-time city, a lot of opportunity if football wasn't in the cards for him to move on and do things in this city. And he's just one of those unique guys that decided that, hey, why do I have to go anywhere else when I can get everything I want here?
I guess it's no surprise to you, to people around him, former teammates and coaches, that he has excelled at the next level.
Oh, he's more than excelled. You think about guys that play his position, the amount of years, the punishment that puts on his body. I've had a unique experience now over the last 8 years to see it. It's a brutal game. It is for men, and he's a man, and he's gotten it done. He's been consistent, and the city of Charlotte loves him.
His greatest legacy would be what, if you could pinpoint it down to one thing?
Football or as a person?
Anything.
He's one of the most honest people I've ever been around. As a young guy, and now a young man, and now a father, and he's just an honest guy. He was true to his word a long time ago, and when he asked me to be here tonight, I told him I'll be here, and I was going to be here, no question.
DeAngelo, congratulations. What does this mean to you?
Oh, it's huge, man. I really appreciate the opportunity of first being here and the opportunity that Memphis gave me to help their program be successful. And, I owe everything to Memphis. For them to induct me into the Hall of Fame, I feel like I need to induct them into the Hall of Fame, meaning the University of Memphis and everything that came with it.
What is the one, there's so many things that you accomplished, but the one legacy you take away from your time at Memphis?
Well, the relationship that I had with my head coach and Tommy West. Most of the things that I do on the field and the way that I deal with things come from my head coach, Coach West.
Teammates like Joe Doss, what can you say?
Oh, man, it's big, man. I saw Joe and Gate pull up. I was like, there go my guys. Yeah, so many memories here, man. So many memories here. Just seeing the guys that I play ball with, that I keep in touch with. Memphis created my extended family, and I really appreciate everything and all the doors that they opened for me.
DeAngelo, you could have went anywhere. You picked Memphis when you could have went to the SEC or a big national program. Why?
Basically boils down to the love that Memphis showed me and the opportunity to play. They didn't tell me what I could do or what I couldn't do. They didn't give me any limitations, and they didn't limit me.
Did you know at that time what you did collegiately, you were going to turn into an incredible professional career?
Had no idea, man. Had no idea. I was just blessed with the opportunity to play this game, man, and Coach West giving me a scholarship to come play here at the University of Memphis. I went through a lot. It'll be a part of my speech today. I don't know if you guys are going to stick around, but I'm going to kind of go through it and tell everybody my process. I don't know how long they will give me to talk, but I'm going to try to get it all out today. It's unbelievable, man. I think I saw something online where they said that it's been a while since we were in the top 25. I don't know what's a while, but I was I was on a team that was in the top 25. We went down to Arkansas State and beat them by 15, but I don't know how long ago that was.
That was the last time.
Yeah, that was the last time we were in the top 25, yeah. And it's great to see the program move in that direction and stick with a coach. I'm always excited to see my team play, whether it's on TV or whether I'm watching it via computer. I'm 100% sure everybody in our locker room hates that I talk about the University of Memphis the way that I talk about them, because I just have that much love and passion for my schools.
I just tried to work my butt off as much as I possibly could to be successful, because when I started this conversation and when I started this journey, I was going to a graveyard and I was going to end my career, but I took that challenge and I took that bull by the horns with the help of my coach and Coach Fiedner and my support staff, and that's where I am today. I want to thank you. You guys have a great time.
Before we say goodnight, Grizzlies center Marc Gasol went for 6 points and 10 rebounds in the West's 163-158 victory in the NBA All-Star Game last Sunday. Big Spain and the Grizzlies return to the court this Sunday in Portland to begin the post-All-Star Game portion of their schedule. 29 games remaining in the regular season. And be sure to stay tuned later tonight here on WKNO for the replay of today's Tigers and UConn Huskies basketball game. The action begins at midnight. And that'll do it for now. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.